Hello YouTube, my apologies for the vertical video, but I'm carrying a package to the post office and it's very awkward and difficult to hold an iPhone 6s Plus horizontally while walking with only one hand. Let's see, it's 4:20. Sorry, I forgot the date and time already. 4:32 p.m. Saturday afternoon, 2021. October 23rd. God, this month has been so long, painful, and yet flown by so fast. And I can't really explain how those contradictory things all come together, but sort of they do. It's kind of, it doesn't seem like that long ago I was stressing about how the hell I was going to pay October rent, and now I'm just not that many days away from November rent being due. So yeah, I'm kind of on the same strategy that I was on last month of the significant other having entirely more money than I do, and apparently also lacking anywhere else to go. So yeah, either you cover what I can't cover or get the fuck out. So actually, I'm not as unprepared to chip in my portion of the rent as that makes it sound. But I don't know how much money I have, and at this point, with as frustrated as I am with that whole roommate / rent situation, given the choice between not having my portion of the rent and not having the money needed to cover all the other payments I have, which are in my name. And just for the record, everything is in my name, and when solely in my name. Yeah, given the choice between being shorthanded on the rent and not covering that other stuff, I'd just soon be shorthanded on the rent. And yeah, it's a little scary. I don't know where I'm at, but I figure at this point I've been just so stressed about everything else. I just can't be bothered to look at all the numbers. Honestly, I've just been trying to be super frugal with my spending. And trying to keep my chin up enough to keep plugging away with my eBay store, such as it is. And granted, I could put a lot more work into it than I've been doing. It's hard to find the motivation to do that. I mean, I think if I focused on that, around the clock, I'd be doing a whole lot more business than I am. But it's just right now it's such a depressing environment being in my home that it's hard to do that. And then when I'm out and about at other places, of course, it's really, honestly, I do actually work on my eBay store when I'm at other places. Last night was weird. Last night was one of those sort of situations where I was quite literally surrounded by friends and just felt so painfully alone that it took I was taking a conscious effort not to just be sitting there in tears. And the only thing that even kept my head together in that environment was that I kept rather than sitting with my friends, I was actually sitting with strangers, which sounds insane, but just it's hard to explain why, but it was just easier. And it really didn't, and to be honest, it really didn't boil down to me seeing that where my friends were and sitting somewhere else where I was sitting by strangers. When I got to the Wander Inn last night, I get there pretty much right about 9 o'clock, maybe a little earlier. And Kimmy and Tim already had music going. They didn't have any singers yet, but they had music playing. Just running off a preloaded playlist, but I'll give them props. It was a good one, and it sounded good in there. And the only reason I feel the need to mention this is I've found myself going to other karaoke places where they don't have singers. What they're doing to pass the time is a playlist of vocal demo versions of karaoke tracks, which are universally pretty awful. At the very least, I don't think that's anything anybody actually wants to hear. So yeah, it was like nice to at least hear, some decent music while it was, waiting to sing. Got a pitcher of beer. And in the table that I sat down at, there was only one other person in the back room where the karaoke is at the time I sat down. And I feel bad. I've known this guy, I want to say 15 years. I don't think I've ever had a real conversation with him other than hi, or ask him something. Like I asked, there was a preseason Phoenix Suns game on one of the TVs, and at one point I asked him if the Suns won. And to be honest, I don't think I was able to even hear his answer. But he's an older native gentleman, and it has some definite physical disability. Used to see him hanging at the break room all the time back when I used to hang out there a lot, say 15 years ago. And he's he just strikes me as a really nice guy, and a guy who's definitely living a life that as frustrating as my shit has been. He's obviously, facing more struggle than I am, and now I find that simultaneously sad and inspirational. And I've noticed he's almost pretty much always just kind of rolling by himself. So I sat down near him, and I guess I was kind of hoping that if people I knew showed up, that they would actually sit near me, I guess. But that didn't happen. The people that ended up sitting near me were people that I didn't really know. One person I met the week before that I said maybe 3 words to the week before. And on that note, they were totally friendly with me, so that's something, I guess. Anyway, I was massively depressed, and I'm sure the fact that I was just tired and physically exhausted, contributed to that. I didn't sleep well the night before, day before, whatever you want to call it. So I was definitely rolling on not a lot of sleep. And as has been my lifestyle for like the last month, it is now, I did an insanely large amount of walking, and quite a bit of that pulling a heavy suitcase and carrying kind of a bulky bag. So, oh, look at all that broken glass. So anyway, it was yeah, so I mean, my head wasn't in a good place. I was just really frustrated and really physically physically tired, mentally drained, and just tired from not enough sleep. And after leaving Bullocks, and I didn't really feel like I connected with anybody at Bullocks when I was there on Saturday. I mean, I talked to the bartender briefly, and that was actually, I don't want to say that was positive or negative. I mean, Heather's always a sweetheart, but I don't know. I guess she just kind of sensed that I wasn't in the best of spirits, and so I told her that, just how much I was struggling with. I still didn't have my car, and that I half expected that my, that I wasn't sure what I was going to end up doing that night, if I was going to end up just kind of staying the night on the streets like a homeless person in that neighborhood, or if I was going to end up walking home. And she did say, to Heather's credit, she did say to hit her up later and she'd see what she could do to get me a ride home. But I don't know, I didn't really want to burden her with that, because for most everybody at that bar, I'm way, way outside the sphere of where they go. So, and once I got everything packed up, I ended up working on music just because I got there so damn late. And if you watched the vlogs yesterday, you saw I kind of got a late start, and I had to go to the Cox store because Cox wasn't answering their phone, so I wasn't able to pay my internet bill via phone, so I went and paid it in person. Which, I mean, to be fair, I probably could have just kept calling back, or maybe trying to navigate their website, but I a lot of times what happens with me is because I have such an issue with remembering things. When I start working on something, but like something like that, but then for whatever reason, like them not answering the phone, I'm unable to complete it. For some reason, when I'll think about it, I'll think, oh, I already did it, but actually I didn't complete it, because I'll just vaguely remember having tried to do it. Anyway, I was really concerned that if I didn't, especially when I realized that I was near where the Cox, that I was really near where the Cox store was, and it would be probably possible to walk there. It just seemed like the best idea to me to just go handle it, rather than trying to wait to do something else later, and then very potentially forgetting to handle it, and then be stuck with late fees, because I'm struggling to pay bills as it is. So throwing late fees on top of stuff right now is not helpful. So not helpful at all. That thing sticking up in the middle of the sidewalk there always throws me off from this distance. My vision is blurry enough. I always think it's like a person or a dog or something, and it takes a while till it gets more in focus before I realize that that's it's a kind of a utility pole, like cable or telco or something, but it's been hit by a car, and rather than fix it properly, they've just sort of wrapped it with tape and plastic, and then people have used it as sort of a garbage receptacle. Yeah, this is classy, so classy. But in this parts of town like this, the city doesn't give a shit. In fact, to be completely fair, underneath this overpass, it's probably not even the city's jurisdiction to do anything about it. Probably the only entity that could complain to the utility company about, hey, that's blight. You need to fix your thing there with something other than trash bags and duct tape. Is probably ADOT, the Arizona Department of Transportation, and I mean they're charged with freeways. They don't really care much about what's underneath them. About all they do is try to minimize the amount of homeless people that are under there. And on that note, that overpass, more often than not, does have a troll living under it. So anyway, I got all sidetracked by that utility thing. It just always throws me for a loop every time I see it. Just from a distance, it doesn't. I don't know. From a distance, it doesn't look like what it is. And every time I think it's a dog, I get a little apprehensive because I'm not very comfortable around dogs. And then, and anyway, I was talking about something completely different before I got sidetracked by that goofy utility thing that's all busted up in the sidewalk. Dang. My memory issues and paying the cable bill. See, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. So I really wanted to pay my Cox bill while it was still on my mind, which I got handled. So that's a good thing. Yay, no late fee. Yay, a record of things being paid on time, and yay that it was anyway, that's went all the way around. Other than it took quite a bit of time. I mean, I think as a result of that, and then my walking to Wendy's, and I do remember catching it on film as I was rolling video walking from the Cox store to Wendy's, that I saw another Route 60 bus drive by, and I'm assuming I missed one because that's usually a pretty tight transfer from the 50 to the 60. I'm assuming I missed one while walking to the Cox store, so that was probably the second one walking to Wendy's. But again, that was one of those decisions that I kind of made. It's like, which is the lesser of two evils, not catching that bus or not eating, and kind of went with the not eating because I was pretty sure at that point in time I wasn't going to make it to Bullock's in time for dollar tacos and pretty much everything else on their menu on Friday is a little more than I can really justify spending. Friday is more than I can justify spending right now. And what was I going to say? It's just been such an ordeal finding fast food places with open lobbies where I can go in and eat. Since I don't have a vehicle to go through the drive-thru and eat in, that I figured I'd better. And I kind of figured I was going to end up at the Wander Inn, and the food at the Wander Inn is absolutely awful. So very limited menu, and it's god awful bad food over there. It just seemed like it was probably a good idea to eat while I was at a place where I could, with food that I like and that I can afford. So got a biggie bag at Wendy's. Those who are not familiar with the $5 biggie bag, that's a bacon double stack, which are freaking delicious. They're not huge, but they ain't small either. Four piece they're chicken nuggets, either spicy or regular. I'm not a fan of spicy nuggets, so I got the regular. And Wendy's nuggets, I don't know. They're not particularly good, but they're not awful. So for something that's just kind of thrown in the bag, I'll take it. I'll take it. It's a little extra sustenance. Get a drink with it. I do find sometimes I'm not really keeping myself as hydrated as I should. Not keeping myself as hydrated as I should due to the fact that I don't have they don't let you take fountain drinks on the bus. And drinks in bottles with lids cost considerably more than fountain drinks. So consequently, I find I'm not drinking fluids as much as I should. And even though I've got my what do you call it? My Sip and Save. I did renew my Sip and Save again at Circle K. I got a free fountain drink coming to me every time I walk to a Circle K. It just seems like Circle K when I'm driving is always conveniently on the way. I mean, my biggest issue with Circle K Sip and Save was that most of the time they don't have 32-ounce cups, so I prefer my fountain drink in a 32-ounce cup. The 44-ouncers don't fit, absolutely do not fit in the cup holder in my Saturn, and I just find them burdensomely big. So that's been my biggest problem, but since I've been without a car, it's just been a whole other thing entirely. It just seems like the intersections where my bus transfers are happen to be the few random intersections where there are not Circle K's. And even though, hey, it's only a half-mile drive to where the Circle K is, and that's nothing when you're driving, that's a half-mile out of my way. That's a whole mile of walking. And at this point, a quarter mile of walking is enough to kind of wear me out. So a whole nother mile walking, it's not happening. Not doing it. Can't handle it. And then add to that with most bus transfers, they don't follow the schedules as closely as they're posted, and most of the time I really don't know how long it's going to be until the next bus shows up. But it could be running late, but it could be running early, and then I don't want to miss it because it could be like 30 minutes on the next scheduled one should be, but 45 minutes till it actually shows up. And then that could throw me off on my next transfer, because most places I go require 2 transfers to get there. So I haven't really been getting my Circle K drinks. And also the whole thing of worried about missing the bus transfer if I do try to walk to a Circle K, and on those events where they are kind of where I need them to be. And then of course if the bus shows up and I've got my drink, I can't bring it on the bus. So it just went from being the Sip and Save went from just being the most awesome thing in my vehicle to $7 I maybe could have $6 or $7 I could have maybe spent on something else. And on that note, I'm pretty much doing this whole journey afoot today, so I'll probably be able to stop and get my Sip and Save. I just had a can of Coke before I started shooting the video out of my fridge, and I don't really need any more soda right now. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, the biggie bag. So that comes with a drink. So yeah, that's a bonus. Because generally speaking, at fast food places, I'm not really willing to pay for the price of a drink, because the compared to convenience stores, the prices are just stupidly jacked up high for a fountain drink. The notable exception being McDonald's, although I haven't done much McDonald's lately, for 2 reasons. A, McDonald's food absolutely sucks, and B, they're one of the worst offenders at closed lobby, please use drive-through. Oh, you don't have a car? Well, then fuck you. So yeah, which is a bummer, because honestly, by far my favorite thing at McDonald's, to be honest, one of the few things I actually really like about McDonald's is I can get a 32-ounce sweet tea for 99 cents, and their sweet tea usually is really, really good. So I'm almost to the post office with 3 minutes to spare. So, yay, I made it. I was going to talk more about what happened at Wendy's, but anyway, I've run out of time, so you've been spared. Anyway, thanks for watching the most boring channel on YouTube. I'll be back with more.